Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Explainer Lab. I am absolutely thrilled you're here today because we are going to unpack a fascinating and kind of invisible mystery that happens every single summer. You know what it feels like to step outside on a scorching hot day, right? But what if I told you the number popping up on your weather app is really only telling you half the story? Today, we're diving into this incredible scientific concept called wet bulb temperature. It's literally a hidden force that changes exactly how we experience the world around us. So grab those imaginary lab goggles, get comfortable, and let's jump right in. So get this. Is there a temperature out there so dangerous that even a super healthy athlete just resting in the shade couldn't survive? I know, it sounds like a trick question, or maybe something straight out of a sci-fi movie, but it is 100% true. Most of us think, if we just find a nice shady tree and chug a bottle of water, we can survive pretty much any hot day. But there's actually a villain hiding in the air around us, and that's the combination of extreme heat mixed with total 100% humidity. When those two join forces, they create a completely invisible danger zone. Okay, let's dive into this by running through 5 spectacular and pretty catchy science facts we're going to explore today. Fact number 1, you are basically a giant walking wet bulb thermometer. Number 2, evaporating water is an energy thief that literally steals heat right off your skin. Number 3, humidity is the sneaky villain that strips away your natural cooling superpower. Number 4, believe it or not, completely dry heat actually feels cooler to your body than sticky heat. And finally, number 5, 35 degrees Celsius, that's 95 degrees Fahrenheit, at total humidity is the absolute limit for the human machine. Now, really quick, before we go any further, I do need to share a very important medical disclaimer. This explainer is all about learning the cool science behind our weather, but heat safety is serious business. Our bodies are amazing, but they definitely have limits. If you ever feel sick, dizzy, or even just weirdly tired when you're playing outside in the heat, you need to tell an adult immediately, get into the shade, and drink some cool water. Always, always listen to your body first. Moving right along, let's look at Section 1, History of the Thermometer. So back in the 1800s, scientists were mostly relying on your standard dry bulb thermometers. The regular glass tubes with a little bulb of liquid at the bottom you've probably seen in a classroom. And they measure the basic heat of the air perfectly, but they completely ignore moisture. Then, in the 1900s, things got clever. Scientists realized that if they literally wrapped a wet piece of cloth around the bulb of that thermometer and spun it around in the air, the temperature reading actually dropped. This became known as the wet bulb thermometer, and it finally allowed us to measure the exact effect of humidity. Fast forward to the 2020s, and scientists are now using high-tech digital versions of both to constantly monitor and predict severe climate dangers all around the globe. All right, Section 2, how evaporation cools us. So the absolutely crucial point here is understanding what wet bulb temperature truly means. Basically, it's defined as the lowest temperature an object can reach simply through the cooling power of evaporating water. I want you to think of water as a tiny, invisible energy thief. As liquid water turns into a gas and flies up into the air, it needs energy to make that leap. And where does it get that energy? It steals it right off the surface it was resting on, which actually leaves that surface physically colder. Let's do a quick, super safe science experiment right where you're sitting. Seriously, try this. Step 1, lick your index finger so it's nice and wet. Step 2, blow air directly onto your wet finger. Step 3, just focus on what you feel. Do you feel that sudden cold sensation? That is evaporative cooling in action. The air you just blew helped the moisture turn into vapor, stealing the heat right off your skin. Your finger just acted exactly like a tiny wet bulb thermometer. And this brilliantly illustrates the whole concept using a summer memory we probably all share. Think about it. Step 1, you jump out of a warm, perfectly comfortable swimming pool on a super hot day. Step 2, you immediately stand directly in front of a big box fan, or maybe you just catch a strong breeze. Step 3, you instantly start shivering. See, even if the air outside is hot, the water evaporating off your entire body is stealing so much heat energy all at once that you literally feel freezing cold. Let's compare our 2 main characters here side by side. First, we have dry bulb temperature. This is measured by that standard thermometer we talked about. It completely ignores moisture and strictly measures just the heat in the air. But then we have wet bulb temperature. This is measured with that wet cloth over the thermometer. It includes the reality of humidity, and most importantly, it shows us the actual cooling potential of the air. If the air is dry, water evaporates fast, and that wet bulb temperature plunges right down. Okay, Section 3, when our bodies overheat. And this brings us right to the villain of our story, 100% relative humidity. This means the air is completely, entirely saturated with moisture. It's kind of like a sponge that's soaking wet. It literally cannot absorb a single drop more. When this happens, the sweat on your skin has absolutely nowhere to go. It just sits there. Because it can't evaporate, that energy thief process we talked about stops dead in its tracks. Your body's natural air conditioning system is essentially completely shut down. And here is the dramatic number scientists warn us about: a 35 degrees Celsius or 95 degree Fahrenheit wet bulb temperature. At this exact point, the air is so hot and so stuffed with moisture that human sweat stops evaporating entirely. Your internal engine just keeps generating heat, but there is absolutely no way to release it into the environment. Prolonged exposure to this invisible limit causes a person's core temperature to just skyrocket, which is exactly why it's considered the absolute upper limit for human survival. No way around it. Next up, Section 4, Real-World Cooling Examples. So engineers actually use wet bulb temperature readings every single day. They use it to design those giant cooling towers you see on top of large buildings. People in hot, dry climates use this exact science to create swamp coolers, which use evaporation to blast cold air into homes for just a fraction of the energy of a normal AC unit. Meteorologists use it to forecast safe weather for high school sports. They know exactly when to cancel a football practice to keep kids safe. And governments even use it to create laws that protect outdoor workers from really dangerous shifts. To make all those awesome technologies actually work, engineers look for something called the wet bulb depression. Now, this is simply the mathematical difference between the normal dry air heat and the wet bulb reading. A bigger gap means the air is super dry, which translates to amazing cooling power. A massive wet bulb depression is basically a playground for evaporative coolers and for our sweating bodies to work with absolute ultimate efficiency. All right, Section 5, Living with Rising Heat. Let's track how this is playing out in the real world. In 2010, the city of Jacobad experienced severe wet bulb conditions that pushed right up against the absolute limits of human survival. By 2022, extreme heat concerns were so serious that global soccer tournaments, like the World Cup, had to be moved completely from the summer to the winter just to keep the athletes safe. And looking into the future, by 2070, scientists project that if warming continues, large parts of Asia could become critical danger zones where these limits are crossed way more frequently. But we are fighting back, and cities are using two main strategies to do it. First, we have passive cooling. This is brilliant city design that actually works with nature. We're talking planting massive shady trees, building green parks, and painting roofs a bright reflective white so they absorb way less heat. A really great example of this is the sponge city concept, which is built to absorb water and lower urban heat naturally. On the flip side is active cooling, which relies on technology like electric fans and air conditioners. Now, while active cooling is an absolute lifesaver, it demands huge amounts of electricity, which honestly can sometimes make the underlying climate problem even worse. So the absolutely crucial point to remember here is that extreme heat isn't fair. It doesn't affect everyone equally. It deeply hurts people without resources the most. We're talking older adults, people who have to work outdoors all day, families without access to clean water, and folks living in neighborhoods that lack shady trees or reliable electricity. They are highly, highly vulnerable. That is exactly why checking on our neighbors during a heat wave is quite literally one of the most important things we can do. Because, while air conditioners, swamp coolers, and shady parks are amazing tools, they're kind of just bandages. The absolute best defense we have as a global community is lowering our greenhouse gas emissions and actively protecting the natural world. Stopping pollution at the source is the ultimate, absolute, most effective way to adapt and keep those dangerous wet bulb temperatures from becoming just an everyday, normal occurrence. Which brings us to a really huge question for you. Our bodies are incredible, adaptable machines, for sure, but they definitely have their limits. Knowing what you know now about the invisible danger of heat and humidity, how will you use your curiosity to help build a cooler, safer world for everyone? Maybe you'll invent a new type of passive cooling, or plant a neighborhood garden, or maybe you'll just be the person who always remembers to check on their elderly neighbor during a heat wave. Well, thank you so much for joining me in the Explainer Lab today. I really hope you look at the weather forecast completely differently from now on, and that you always remember that sneaky little energy thief that is evaporation. Keep exploring the world around you, stay endlessly curious, and most importantly, stay cool out there. See you next time.